Hello and welcome to another episode of Tales from a Professional Nerd. My name is Bryan Steele, and I will be your nerd today and any other day that you watch one of my silly little shows. So, yeah. First and foremost, before we get into things, happy 150th episode. Obviously, this doesn't include sadly short-lived Spelljammer campaign and the Eddie will insert random vids that I put in because I was sick or I had to make notes or anything like that. But primary episodes 150. We'll talk about that in a minute. Before we get into all of that, let's do a week in Bryan. Okay, so this has been a pretty dang fine week. Here's I got straight. I almost sneezed right in your face right there. So I'll go through the segments. Easy peasy. The weight loss. I'm still kind of plateaued, but I'm trying to get back on the wagon, so to speak. Coming back from the cruise and being all stressed out because of deadlines on books and things definitely did not help. I haven't really gained any, like, a couple of pounds back, but not, I haven't, like, completely lost the plot, so to speak. But I'm trying, I'm working on getting back to it. It is hard knowing that here in a couple of weeks we have another vacation, and then I've got Gen Con. So it's gonna be a thing, but I'll stick to it as best I can. I'll hopefully you guys will still notice me slimming away. That's on the personal side of things. On the professional side of things, Warzone is doing great as far as background, behind the scenes kind of stuff. I wish I could give you more information, but there is there's a meeting that we're going to have very shortly between Alex, Tom, myself, maybe other members of the project, to kind of really sort of set forth the game plan, as no pun intended, as to how we are going to start dealing with putting out more information, maybe sharing some new concept art. I just got the preliminary kind of pre-edit digital files for a new to us anyway, unit type that I'm very excited to see once we get kind of get it finalized and get it tweaked out. I personally painted a 3D print of a model that we showed during the postponed Kickstarter. Part of that meeting is I want to ask if I can maybe show that off to you guys. But yeah, so Warzone's coming along just fine. As I said before, the rules are in a good spot. We're just kind of now tweaking individual units and stuff, and most of what we're working on now is behind the scenes background, marketing and fabrication stuff. So when we do relaunch the Kickstarter, it has a much more solid jumping off point than the first one looked like it was going to. Other work stuff, the painting commission that has been looming over my head, I finally got that done. I over the weekend, I just really set myself to focus, asked my wife to take care of the rest of the house during my additional work hours I was adding in the studio, and had a good time getting all that stuff pushed out. Which means right now I actually do not have any painting commissions sitting on my desk, which is it's good for stress. It's good to know that if I'm sitting over there at the hobby section of the studio to do some painting, it's for me. It's just to enjoy what I'm doing, to enjoy the hobby, to breathe a little easier and get some cool stuff done. It's not an obligation. It's not a contract. It's not paying any bills. It's just to have a good time. And sometimes I need that. Is, I a lot of times I paint to de-stress, and if it's a big commission, that kind of works against the process. So in this case, I'm glad that I've got nothing sitting on the desk over there, so I can work on a few things. I actually have a few things that I am planning to get done for my the D&D game that I run. That is very miniature heavy, very hobby centric. So I'll be looking forward to seeing that. Looking forward to seeing that, come to fruition over there, because there's a lot of little guys. I'm not getting into it because I know at least one of my players watches the show, so I don't want to, give them any hints as to what they're going to be fighting. Or encountering, as the case may be, because you never know. Sometimes people talk their way out of fight encounters that you thought were going to be a sure thing. Speaking of that game, we'll just blend right into games. Played a new board game last week with the whole family, both the kids, wife, myself, at one point the cat. Called Escape from Blackgate, I think. It is a escape room style board game that is not an actual escape room board game. Basically, there's cards that have you do puzzles and things, and play charades and answer riddles and things like that. Using clues on the board, that sort of spiel. I am gonna sneeze. I knew it was coming. So using the stuff that's on the board, using the clues, and then you have to put together specific items to unlock the locks between the different sections of the board. So it's a lot like an escape room, except because all of the cards and everything and all the puzzles and everything are random. You can play it multiple times, which I think is a big plus. I really enjoyed. We did a escape room in a box game a couple of weeks ago, and we really enjoyed it. But it's really kind of a one-time thing. Once you know the answers to all the puzzles, you can't really play it again. It doesn't. It's more of a legacy game where you play it once and you're like, okay, cool, that was fun. Let's do another one, but you can't really do the same one. This is different. This is an actual board game that is themed like a escape room style, but it's completely random and it plays through different every time. So, I really like that. I thought that was a cool, a fun time, a cool time. I did not win. My stepkid won. But when we were kind of figuring out, how things went at the end, we also figured out that if they wouldn't have won on their turn, the next person to go, my son would have won. So it came down to right at the end, a couple of different people had it in the bag, so to speak. So that was a lot of fun. My son and I pulled out our Magic the Gathering cards a little bit this weekend, so that was neat. I still haven't made a deck using the cool werewolf mechanic, the day-night mechanic. I haven't made a full deck with that yet. I've got a whole bunch of cards sitting there staring at me saying, make a deck, and I haven't. I need to, because it was fun. We had a good time. Speaking of my son and things, we sat around the other day while I was actually painting for fun's sake, for funsies, and we were talking about the D&D game I run down in Indianapolis, the hobby centric one, what I was painting those models for. And we were talking, and because he started to play D&D and he started to really get his mind around how plot structure works, how you get to, almost viewing it's almost video game-esque, who's the big boss, what's the next level, where do you go, that kind of thing. And because he's starting to get that, get interested in that kind of thing, we started talking, and he actually helped me with a very particular plot line that I'm going to be using. He helped me brainstorm a very, very cool plot line that I had kind of the beginnings of, it was kind of amorphous on my notebook, a couple of NPCs written down, and the final goal, but nothing on the way there. And he was like, how about this? How about this? This might be cool. And it was neat. It was neat to kind of brainstorm with him and talk about running a game. And in the back of my head, I won't lie, in the back of my head, there was these little voices that were like, give him a couple of years and he'll be running games for his friends. And that's proud. Very cool. Proud daddy moment. Proud gamer daddy moment. The other game wise. So here's the big one that I wanted to talk about. So we had what should have been the final epic battle with Strahd last night. Spoilers for Curse of Strahd if you're ever going to play it. You fight Strahd. We ended our last session basically with the roll initiative, and we're going to get into the combat next round, or next game. That's exactly how it started. We got into combat, and we started off doing pretty well. We were inflicting a lot of damage with him. Our sorcerer started chucking lightning bolts like they were going out of style. He summoned up a bunch of, I think they were ghouls, but they may have just been particularly ugly zombies. But they came up, and our cleric, banished half of them, and then I, as my Dragonborn paladin, I blew fire at him a couple of times and killed the rest of them. So his summoned allies vanished quick. We actually caused him to flee out of the room. Kind of threw a magic portal in the wall. He came back later. We'll get to that. But it was neat. It was a boss fight where the boss fights you for a little while, and then he summons his minions. He hides away and comes back, and our DM Nick was doing a really, really good job of making him particularly scary and very tactically sound. He didn't just run forward and try to beat on people. He would pick his targets and use legendary actions. It was very cool. It was very, very cool. However, our collective saving throws were so bad. We had we had ways of getting rerolls. We had ways of bolstering it because having the paladin in the middle of the room. Our saving throws were so collectively terrible that about 4 rounds in, it's about 3 or 4 rounds into the combat, Strahd charmed, transfixed, whatever, one of our primary damage dealers, who then turned on us. And then, because we thought we found a couple of cool ways to sort of break him out of it using other spells, that's when his saves were on fire. So it was when we had stuff that when you had stuff that you didn't want to pass the saving throw for, we'd make it. If it was something that you had to pass it or take a bunch of damage, we'd fail it. It was perception checks. Make a perception check to see the shadow coming in out of the walls. Terrible. I mean, our dice. We were doing decent damage. Casting spells. Our attacks were okay. We weren't missing or anything like that. So it didn't feel like it was a complete steamroll because we were doing damage, but we were taking so much in return. And a part of that was because one of our primary damage dealers turned on us in turn 3, and we couldn't snap him out of it. Everything we tried, he would either pass the save or we would fail to do what we needed to do. And so what that did is it really tilted the fight against us, and by the end of it, we were. They found there's a thing in the room that you fight him in, a dragon skull, that a prophecy that we read earlier on, that if we get the dragon skull and bring it back to these people, that we'll get like this big huge bonus, maybe like a ghostly army or something. That something cool would happen to help the fight against Strahd. And so the party, when realizing that at least one of our people wasn't doing a whole lot of damage to Strahd, it was okay. Go get the skull, and we'll get out of here. Well, by the time we got the skull, things had started to look so bad that maybe we were like, okay, we need to flee and regroup. This is bad. But that's about the same time that we had to knock out our barbarian. We had to spend multiple healing assets to bring people up after some rat swarms came in and started chewing on everybody. And the our kind of NPC wizard guy that we picked up along the way was put on death's door by his own shadow. I mean, it was a rough fight, and so wisely the party was like, we need to leave and come back another day. And so that's what happened. Except because Strahd came back in the room, and he is obviously faster and scarier than we are, fleeing him without having a distraction is a mistake. So our cleric ran forward to try and help someone and got knocked out. My paladin, because I had the most hit points, I have the highest AC, I have the best saving throws, the most immunities. Basically, I'm the kind of thing that I should have been able to stand toe to toe with Strahd for at least a couple of rounds. And so I said, I'm gonna run into the room and get that cleric. I'm gonna get our friend, or at least heal him. I've still got like 30 points of lay on hands. I'll try and heal him, and while everybody else was escaping. So literally, I was gonna kind of hold a line and try and help our healer so we can get out of there. Some of the party members were not okay with this, and basically were like, no, let's go. He's already dead. All you're gonna do is get yourself killed. And being who I was and being the characters that were being played and the relationships that the characters had created, I was not about to just go, he's a lost cause and cut him like dead weight. So I went and confronted Strahd, and my dice were awful. I did not inflict any damage on him, but I've got 80 some odd hit points. I'm gonna stand the line. Well, so he does his legendary action, knocks me way down, cracks me up the head a couple of times, and then our sorcerer decides to run over and force me out of basically says, you're not gonna martyr yourself for Sam, for our cleric. You're not gonna martyr yourself. Come on. Grabs my arm and casts a spell. Now, I assume initially that this spell is probably Dimension Door or Misty Step or something that's going to be a quick teleport, because he does say, he tells the group, I'm going to grab him and teleport him out of there. What I did not know, my character obviously did not know, is I'm not about ready to just leave our friend to die. Not that pragmatic. I'm gonna try and save him. And so I resist, I pull my arm free, and that's when the rest of the spell goes off, which apparently his teleport spell that he used is Thunder Step. And Thunder Step is a teleport that basically leaves like a big sonic boom behind when it goes. So he inflicts like 30 damage on me because I refused to leave. and teleports away. So like it's literally he runs in. No, yeah, he inflicted some damage on Strahd because Strahd was standing right there too, but it put me way down to like in the 30s. At which point Strahd takes another legendary action, and the hits me for a ton, just clobbers me upside the head, and our cleric fails his last death save and dies. So at this point, I am alone in the room. Our cleric is dead, and I have been reduced to like 2 hit points. I'm like, all right. I asked the DM, I was like, do I know Sam's dead? At this point, is it a lost cause? And he's like, yeah, you definitely can tell from where you're at. You heard that last heavy, dramatic sigh of breath, and then he stopped breathing. So, I'm like, all right, it's time to leave. Except I'm like, I can't. If I walk away, I've got 2 hit points. If I walk away, his attack of opportunity is probably going to just kill me anyway. And I didn't want to just straight stand there and heal because, he's just going to then hit me again and take care of all that damage, that I'm going to heal. And I didn't really want to disengage because I can't get far enough to, for him not to just be able to walk up as his legendary action and slap me again. So I go, you know what, I've got one more good spell in my repertoire, and I cast Daylight, and I centered it right on his face. Now, the Daylight spell is not actually sunlight, so it doesn't do all kinds of crazy cool stuff to vampires, but it did, the DM determined that it did scare him, like startle him, blind him, and kind of make him go, is that real? Like, as a vampire, that was his instinct, and so, he said, it took away his reaction that turn, and it would give him disadvantage when he attacks, that kind of stuff. And so, I hightailed it. I ran as far as I could, and that was not far enough. He, on his following turn, he then glided over so it was 10 feet away from me, and then cast some kind of spell that whether or not I saved, it was a save for half damage kind of thing. Even half damage would put me down, so it was just knock me out. And everybody else, I did what I was supposed to do. My character held the line. I took 2 more rounds worth of Strahd's attention. 3 if you count him probably, stomping on me or, vamping me or whatever, after I went unconscious. But the end result of our climactic battle with Strahd, our climactic failed battle with Strahd, is dead cleric, dead wizard, dead paladin, reincarnated barbarian who went from a tabaxi to a dwarf. It was rough. It was harsh. It was bad. Part of it was most of our resources were already gone, because we're fighting on the way there. So we kind of went in with less oomph that we needed, and then it's just a combination of our saving throws were horrible, even with advantage on saving throws that we would need to roll like 8s or 9s on with bonuses and whatnot. 2s, 3s, the whole 9 yards. It was so bad. But it was a lot of fun. We had a good time, and it does mean that the game continues. A lot of us were expecting that this was going to be the last session of Curse of Strahd because we thought we were going to beat Strahd. We were very overconfident. We got this, and the game continues. And myself and one of the other players, we are going to make new characters to work into the party to try and finish this out, to finish out the campaign, but Sir Racklin, my bronze dragonborn paladin of the kaleidoscopic oath, you will be missed, at least by me. I don't know by anybody else, and you did good. You fought the hard fight. You fought the valiant fight. You did good. So there's that. That's my gaming for the week. It was a hectic, stressful, and epic conclusion to the character, but the game goes on, and we'll know more when my buddy and I sit down and try and make the new characters for the rest of the campaign. All right, let's go ahead and get into why we're here today, and that is to celebrate 150 episodes. 150 episodes, man. When I started this whole thing back in the day, it was to give me an outlet for my work, my industry-related depression, to help others who were in the same sort of freelance doldrums that I was in, and to give me an outlet. And it turned into this. It turned into this fun little vloggy episode chit chat thing that I do every week, or as often as hopefully every week. I've gotten sponsors. We've got the tabletop emulator, the board game emulator Savranti. We've got Armor Class 10, who gives me a lot of my gamer apparel. Not this particular shirt, but a lot of my gamer apparel comes from Armor Class 10. My paint sponsor with Turbo Dork. They've got some of the best metallics, period. With some of the neatest effects and some of the most interesting shades that you can have. And I don't know if you noticed, I may have mentioned before that they just started they gave me a promotion code for your first order with them. If you use the link that I put in the description of this video, you get like 10% off. So cool. Or maybe free shipping and 10%. At least 10% off. But yeah, so. We've come a long way. I'm talking to a coffee sponsor, trying to get sponsored from a local gamer themed coffee maker. It's just over these last 150 episodes, I've had awesome Necron Titans gifted to me from viewers. I had one of my subscribers get me a 3D printer, which has been enormously cool for making D&D models. Hell, the existence of that printer is why I started the hobby-centric D&D game in Indianapolis. I've gotten a couple other care packages here and there. A lot of times it's just like resin or whatever from the Amazon wish list. But I would have never thought that we would have made it this far. I would have never thought that I would have had the attention span or the dedication to make these episodes every week. And on top of all of that, it is really nice to have a way to tell the world what's going on without resorting to slices of life Instagram posts or things like that, or I still use Facebook and I still use Twitter and all that stuff, which is fine. I enjoy those interactions too, but with this show, I'm able to go deeper. I'm able to explain things more. I'm able to go on my crazy tangents and tell you fun stories. I'm just really very happy with how this has come together. Obviously, I would love to have more subscribers. I would love more people to be able to watch. I would love to get some kind of shade for this window because it's very bright all the time. But yeah, no, it's just I'm very fortunate to be able to do this show and to be able to have the time to do this show. Um, and I I really I know I said a lot, I do this for you. I do this for me just as much, and I don't mean monetarily, and I don't mean like oh, I'm trying to get to my 10,000 followers or whatever. It's not like that. I do it for me because it also helps, um, you know, put my mental mental stuff in a row. Helps me keep my ideas flowing, and I do think that it also, I really do believe that it helps me keep track of what I'm supposed to be doing. The Week in Bryan is not just to let you guys know what I'm up to and to check in with my subscriber family. Um, it's it is also for me to kind of make the bullet points of this is what I've been up to, this is what I need to be up to, and if something pops up, if something you know is a constant reminder, or oh man, I need to do this, I need to do this. It's something that I can make note of when I'm editing the video, and I can go, hey, this needs to become a priority. So you guys have been, being able to talk to you guys has been just as helpful for me as it has been, hopefully entertaining or informative for you. But yeah, so 150 episodes. That's a lot. 150 weeks. It's a long time. Plus the weeks that we've taken off. Plus the other videos that are kind of inserted themselves along the way. I'm very excited about where we can go with this. I love the fact that we've put together the comment raffle. Monthly I give away a weird prize pack. I actually just mailed out June's prize pack to a gentleman in the UK. He was actually going to be he was very nice about it. He was going to say, please, shipping is really, really expensive. Don't send stuff over, overseas on my account. Give it to someone local. But that's not how I work. If you are a subscriber, if you're sharing my video on your social media, if you're out there interacting and being part of this program and part of this process, you're eligible. You're part of, unless you literally live someplace that I can't ship something to you, like can't, then it's part of the thing. If your comment comes up, if the roll of the die says you're the winner, then you're the damn winner, and you're gonna get something cool. And in fact, because I know who that particular winner is, I was able to kind of tailor their prize pack a little bit to something that I think that they're going to be very excited about. Yeah, so I knew that I was going to talk a lot about Strahd, and that the actual meat of the episode was really just going to be kind of a celebratory. Heck yeah. I want to take the next few minutes to ask kind of where you want me to go after 150. What topics do you want me to cover? Please comment in the comment section. What topics do you want me to cover? Is there something that you have just been interested in? Is there something that you would like me to focus on or discuss or give my opinion on? I need to know these things. I want to make more content, and I want to make content that you guys want to watch. And the way to do that is to interact with me and let me know. So I'm going to be watching the comment section on this episode very, very closely, because it's going to help me plan out probably the next 4 or 5 episodes based off of what comes up and what have you. So please think about it. Come up with some cool ideas and drop them in the comment section. And which ones get the most likes and kind of the most exposure and stuff will go on the list. let's let's try and cover things that, you know, I'm not being like, you know, cover the scandalous things. No, just let's try and cover stuff that that either I haven't covered before, or maybe you want me to go more in depth on. I'm an open book, and I really want to turn this channel into something that people go, hey, did you see the most recent Professional Nerd episode, or did the most recent Tales from episode? Um, Again, I'm not looking to make this into like a, you know, a big monetized fame situation. I'm looking to try and help and inform and entertain as many gamers and viewers as possible. So please, 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 going forward, share this video, tell your friends, subscribe to the channel, comment, like, put them all, put us on all your socials. Let's try and grow the channel. Our first 150 have gone by. Let's hope that we've reached, you know, 1,000 or more subscribers by our next 150. That would be awesome. But until then, I'm over the moon with how things are going, and with the channel, with life, with everything. I'm in a very, very good place, and I hope you are too. I hope you are staying safe. I hope you wear a mask when you need to. I hope you definitely, you know, get your vaccines and boosters, and you know, take this time to enjoy the finer parts in life. You know, focus on the good. Try and eschew that negativity that's always looming around. Put a smile on your face. Put a smile on someone else's face, and above pretty much anything else, play some games. Thanks for the 150, guys, and here's to 150 more. We'll see you next week.